everyone to our weekly IPM virtual forum series. Today is Friday, December 3rd, and we're thrilled to be joined today by one of my dearest friends, and probably the person I've known the longest in El Salvador, actually, at least who's still in El Salvador, and that is Ana Greig, who is a Maryknoll lay missioner. She will explain a little bit more about her history, I'm sure, to you during the course of her presentation. But we would be remiss if we didn't take a moment at the beginning of our forum today to recall that yesterday was the 41st anniversary of the murder of 4 North American church women, Dorothy Kazel, Ida Ford, Jean Donovan, and Maura Clark. 2 were Maryknoll. One was an Ursuline sister from Cleveland, and Jean Donovan was a lay woman with the Cleveland mission team. And they have had a huge impact, their lives and their ministry and their martyrdom, on Anna, I know, on myself, and on many of us on the call this morning, and probably many of you watching on Facebook either right now or later. 4 remarkable women who were willing to stay in El Salvador when every indication was that by staying there, they were putting their lives quite literally on the line. And they wrote prophetically about the decision-making process, the discernment that they went through as they decided whether or not, particularly, I'm most familiar with some of the writing from Ida and Jean at that time, which we can share with you if you'd like, or I'll try to maybe during the forum. But the decision to go back to El Salvador, to remain in El Salvador, to accompany the people that they had come to know and love, as many of us have over the almost 50-year history of IPM, in their work, and gave the greatest sacrifice for that. As we recall on the memorial to Rutilio Grande, another martyred Salvadoran, the quote from John that there's no greater love than to lay down your life for your friends. So we are honored as we think about those 4 women and the impact they've had on our lives, to also know that there are Maryknolls and lay missioners and committed lay individuals and people of every faith and of none who continue to lay down their lives around the world for the kind of work for justice, peace, and hope that our project partners promote in so many places. And as I said, I met Anna, I think it was probably 2001 or 2, almost 20, probably 20 years ago, on an immersion experience with a former IPM board member, Mark Falbo, accompanying him with a delegation from John Carroll University, the Jesuit university in Cleveland, ironically a place that traveled with us virtually on a virtual immersion focused on CAST just a few months ago. So I'm going to turn it over to Anna at this point. As I tell every delegation that travels to El Salvador, I can think of no one in the country that I trust more, or that I'm more comfortable having you feel comfortable asking her any question, and she will give you her honest answer, I'm sure, including if she doesn't know. But feel free to join in. But for now, we ask that you mute yourselves and follow along with the presentation that will be facilitated along with Anna by some of our Salvadoran colleagues that will be flipping through the slides for us. And then we'll come back for our typical question and answer session, and then share an update about what we have planned for the balance of the year. So Anna, bienvenida. It's great to see you, even in this space. And I'll turn it over to you now.
Okay, thanks, Joe. And I might add that in reference to yesterday, the 4 women were influential, especially Jean Donovan, in my selecting El Salvador as a mission. So I carry them in heart and spirit. I was not able to go yesterday, but the Altmans did go and sent some pictures. So yeah, we're always remember them. I thought what I would do is start out. I think that, 2020 was definitely for everyone a very complicated year, but I think 2021 picked us up a lot in a lot of ways. And I think the first thing that always happens in situations like this was the crisis with food and availability of food and income to buy it. And I'll have to say that, Adela said, what do you need? And I said, because our beneficiaries increased so much, I said, we do not have a big enough pot. And so IPM, she said, well, we'll get you the pot. So always think of that because now we could, we increased the volume to be able to, that's our cook, Susie, increased our volume to be able to serve more people. So it was a nice solidarity between IPM, Maryknoll, and other people that just asked me in terms of food, what I needed help with. And I said, I just need to buy more food. So that's been a tremendous help and, has carried us through this year. The other thing that's been, I think, when I asked the women what they needed, they said they need new ideas and creativity on things to sell. And so I thought, well, I'd be happy to do that, but I need someone to teach you. And so Adela made the suggestion of having the collaboration between the collective women in Zaragoza and the soy program. And that has been a tremendous experience. I think a tremendous experience for the women in Zaragoza, as well as for our beneficiaries, the people participating in the program. Because we went through, we're on the last one now, but the first one they did is they learned how to make chocolate. And the neat thing I found about this was that, and it actually happened yesterday, one of the women that was in the program bought me a sample of chocolate she made. And she said, please, would you test this and give me your approval? And I said, oh, okay, but really, to be quite honest, the chocolate here is so sweet. I said, okay, I'll try it. Well, you know what? She made it dark chocolate. In other words, she hardly put in any sugar and it was excellent. So I thought, gosh, that I said, more power to them. It really gives me a lot of satisfaction for the women that taught, everyone that donates, when people come back and bring in things that they show that they're doing, practicing what they have learned. So the first one was on making chocolate. The second one that we did was on making piñatas. And, anyone that's been to Latin America, a lot of places in the world, if you have kids and you have a celebration, you have a piñata. So, and I had never seen one made myself. So it was very interesting watching the process from start to finish, and the creativity in it, the different things that you can make. So this was the first one where they teach them how to actually do the framing of whatever design that they decide to do. And it's a very time-consuming process. I mean, I didn't realize what's involved with it, because you have to kind of like, I call it, I don't know if this was it, but I called it paper mache, where you take the newspapers and you gum them. They use yucca flour and water it down and make a paste like we would use with cornstarch. And then they layer the paper to make it nice and thick to make the body of the piñata. But that, not only does that take time, but it's got to dry before you literally dress the piñata. And then when you dress the piñata, I learned that, of course, you got a lot of different colors depending on whatever thing you're making, but that is also very tedious work. So it's, I thought to myself, when someone says, hey, I need a piñata for whatever date they give you, there's a lot of planning and time in that. Unfortunately, I feel that they don't receive what the amount of hours of labor they put into it. But these were the ones up above were the four that were I did. There's another one beside, but I didn't get it in. But the four that they made, that the women, there was 5 of them. We tried to keep the to 5 or 6 because of the COVID. Mickey Mouse and a bear and a dog, and this is some sort of cartoon figure on some sort of cartoon program that I'm not familiar with. But they all kind of looked at me, oh, they said, don't you recognize her? And I said, no. And then Tita, one of the participants in the program, she really got into this. And so she, every time she said, look, she said, hey, here's the 3 that I made. What's a really neat thing is also with this is to hear the women come in and say, hey, I got 2 requests yesterday, or I got 3 more requests, or something of that nature. So yeah, I was very, very, very pleased with that, the piñatas. And then we made, we had jewelry workshop, which these, what do you call them? I guess mask holders are very popular. So that's one of the first things they taught them how to make, was how to make the mask holders. And then all sorts of different, mainly bracelets and necklaces, through all sorts of different kinds of, you know, pretty, I don't know what you call those things, different parts to jewelry. But so we had that. I think there's another one on jewelry, isn't there, Vicky? Yeah, that. And then this is when they started, and they showed them how to lace and how to put it on and how to cut it, which is you know, it's another nice thing to have around, especially with Christmas coming. And then the next one we had is that we've only had one.
Something happened to the sound?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
There we
there you
go. I got it on. The last one that we had was on embroidery, and we've only had one workshop, and they asked if they could do the following 2 in December. So we're going to have one on the 7th and one on the 14th and finish the embroidery, because the senoras wanted to learn this for possibility for Christmas presents. And so there's Ceci with her daughter, Gabriela, learning how to do the embroidery. And I don't know if I had another one on that, Vicky. Yeah, this is the first day they came, and they taught how to do all the unraveling of it. It's also another time consuming. I don't embroider, I don't know how, but it's extremely slow work. It's not quite as slow as crochet, but it's and you could see people that had more practice. If they're sewers, you know, the seamstress, they do it a lot more faster. But and some beautiful designs that they worked on to teach them. So and I have to take my hat off to the facilitators in Zaragoza. They were great with the women. I liked the way that they instructed. They were very patient, worked right with them the whole time. I think it was a boost for them, their own confidence. Whenever you have to teach something, it elevates your confidence. So, and it's formed a nice friendship. And someone asked me the other day, a person asked me who could get to teach how to make chocolate. I said, hey, I have the people to do it. I'd be happy to give you the contact information. So I really liked having that bond with them, and hope that I keep it. Okay. Now we're going to make in a few minutes, we're gonna show you, this is the first recipe that we always do when we introduce soy into a community. And the reason that we do it is it's a guaranteed way to get vegetables into the diet, protein into the diet, and it's very tasty and healthy. And you use it, you know, you teach them how to make the milk, and then they use the okara, the soybean curd. I tried for myself, I tried it using firm tofu instead of because I said, I don't think too many people on EPM make their own soy milk. So I used firm tofu and just chopped it and used that instead of the okara, and that works fine too. because, you know, you can, the neat thing about this recipe is that, and I always tell people when we make this in communities, is that if carrots are really expensive, you use a different vegetable that's less expensive or more available. You know, it's very adaptable. You can do anything you want with it. And if you're a cook, you can use your creativity and change it a lot of different ways. You know, you can use any kind of cheese you want. You can change the flour, you know, when somebody wanted to use whole wheat or corn or what have you, soy. So it's and it's a nice way. I mean, the other thing is that when you teach cooking or you introduce a new product, if you get the person on the first try, you have much more success than something like, well, you know, they taught me this, I didn't really like it. So that's why we wanted to show you this recipe in a minute. Yeah, I think I'd point out again that having the workshops this year was a big booster in animo for the women. They just worked very nicely together, and I'm so pleased that they benefited from it in terms of you know, generating income. So I don't know if there would be any questions on this. This is pretty much my scene here at the soy.
Thank you, Anna. I actually have a question. I was wondering, I know because you've told me a little bit about it, about the financial impact that the workshops might have had on the women, but I was also wondering if you've seen any emotional or social impact in the ladies that are receiving the workshops.
Well, I would say that, I mean, when when they're in the workshops, what I see is that they're very enthusiastic to learn. There's absolutely no boredom, and you know, you have to be active. You've got to work the whole time. So, and they're long because there's so much to do. You know, they start at, and the women that the facilitators are punctual, and my beneficiaries are somewhat punctual. So, you know, and they go till 5. So, you know, for people to stay and make that commitment, stay attentive, and stay animated, you know, yeah, I think it was a big booster for them. And then, you know, people that come in and say, gee, some of them sold the stuff so fast, you know, they come back and, you know, they say, you know, I already sold what I took yesterday, like the chocolate. Some people sold it I sent it with them, you know, what we made. And some of them sold it on the way home.
Wow.
So yeah, I think it was just to have that, you know, guarantee with so much competition in terms of the informal market. It was a nice booster.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Anna.
Anna, I just wanted to thank you for sharing your time with us today. It just brought back so many wonderful memories thinking of you and my visit to El Salvador. I've had the privilege to go there twice during my time with IPM, and I just really feel that you so humbly don't express enough the impact that you and the project has made on the community, on the health, incredible health improvement of children, you know, the education for mothers and families with the soy products and all of that. It's just truly remarkable. And I love this most recent effort of collaboration among our project partners in El Salvador. All of our partnerships are amazing, but to see this kind of, you know, sharing amongst the partners and learning from each other, it's just really incredible. And you are such a gift to us, and the project just continues to inspire all of us.
Thank you, Ilza. You know what? I grew because of COVID, and I couldn't travel and go out and do workshops in other parts of the country. And we were, you know, literally as everyone, right, in the office. I grew much closer to the people, have a deeper relationship with a lot of the beneficiaries, because they would come in and they just want to talk. And fine, that's, you know, sometimes the best thing they want you to do is just listen. Don't offer them advice, don't come, just listen. And so that really helped me too, because, you know, I'm always on the run, you know, and don't have any time, or you're doing administrative, you know. So I found that to be a nice reward out of a complicated situation that we had. And the other thing that I'll mention is that, and I think most of you all know, I'm planning on retiring in hopefully by the end of 2023. So the soy program will remain here for 1 year more, 2022 in San Ramon, and then it will be transferred to other Christian-based communities and set up there in a very another, you know, there's need everywhere, but the Altmans will be taking it over in another part of the not maybe an hour or so from here. So I'm thrilled that that it'll continue on and continue to benefit. We're spending a lot of time next year in training, and then I will the following year also walk in transition with them. You know, Pete said to me the other day, he said, I have 1,000 questions for you. And I said, yeah, I said, well, I just little by little, you know, I'll start sharing what I've learned. You know, I've made a lot of mistakes and you continue to learn, but that's kind of the way it goes. So it's going to be, I can't imagine you know, I'm overwhelmed whenever I think of any sort of, you know, the goodbyes or any of that sort of thing. But probably the blessing at the end of this tunnel is that I'm retiring here in El Salvador. So at least I don't have, you know, I'm still going to remain here, right? And I can continue doing what I want to do, but it's my schedule.
And you don't have to be in the cold Cleveland weather.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Do others have questions? I'm just trying to look on Facebook and see, or comments. You can chat them in if you want, or you can raise your hand if you know how to use that function, or just speak up. We're a relatively small group this morning or this afternoon, depending on where you are.
Anna, you had, I think, been working with, oh boy, I just had a brain freeze. Dominican Republic.
With Joanna?
Joanna, yeah. With the peanut thing that they were working on, the small nutritional package that they were putting together. Have you continued anything along those lines?
No, a little bit, because I mean that was quite a few years ago, and we kind of priced it in the availability of those products, and we didn't pursue it. What we did pursue, however, because peanuts are a great source of protein, is that we now I make 5 pounds of peanut butter a week, and we make cookies using the peanut butter, and we use it in sauces now to, you know, they have a product down here, or a lot of places, you know, Save the Hungry, mana. It's rice and TVP. It's insipid. But so we've had to learn to make a lot of different sauces to spice that up, and peanuts and peanut butter make, you know, wonderful flavoring. So yeah, we didn't actually pursue that. But I did talk to Joanne about it, look into it, but it was kind of costly to do it.
Great question, Carol.
So Anna, is Melissa, so Melissa and Peter, is it going to be in Zaragoza? The
No,
soy?
it's where the Andres and I can't think of his wife's name. They're kind of in it's kind of in Comalapa or Congara. can't pronounce the name of that community. The parish is on the outskirts. I've been to the parish and met their team on the outskirts of Santa Tecla. And then it's in the Campo. There's about, I don't know, maybe 7 communities.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
So it's, you know, it's a little ways from Zaragoza.
Okay. Mhm.
But the nice thing about it is it's set up, you know, the communities are, and there's, you know, the need is tremendous, and especially with the effect of COVID
Right.
and, you know, lack of employment, blah, blah, blah. It's,
Yeah.
it'll work out fine.
Oh, good, good. Thanks.
Mhm. So let me know and I can take you into the kitchen. Susie is going to give you a demonstration on how to make this these patties.
Yeah, no, I think this would be a good time. I would just ask Vicky because I was trying to clarify how we were going to do this, but this would be a perfect time.
I
All right.
actually wrote the rest or copied the recipe off the screen because it sounds like something that would really work beautifully. I love
And
it.
you know, the only thing I forgot to put into it, and she reminded me yesterday, is I forgot to put in chopped tomatoes. Here in Salvador, there's nothing that is not made with garlic, onion, green pepper, and tomatoes. Okay, let me turn off the rig. Okay. All right, first I'm going to introduce you here to Susie. Susie, how can we do this? Let me see. Whoops. Whoops. Oh, it went out. Oh no, it went out.
We can see you, Anna, if you can. I don't know if you can.
My thing went out. Let's see. I mean, you can see me. Mine says.
We can see you fine. Well, I can. I assume
Yeah,
others
we can see you.
Yeah,
Anna.
we can see you and hear you.
Oh, okay. Because I'm on a more than meetings page. I don't know. It says post attendee Zoom.
Oh,
I don't know how to get back.
yeah.
But should I just go ahead and go?
I think so.
I think
yeah.
it'll work, yeah.
Okay.
We can let you know if
Okay. Now, can you see Susie?
part of
Or
her.
should I-
Yeah.
Podemos poner esto. We're gonna lift up the computer. Hang on a second. What about this height? She's looking for something to put it on. How about a vocal or eso? Let's see if that's, I don't know if that's high enough. Let's see. No. Get over here. How about this height?
Yeah, we see her perfectly.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
perfect.
super. Now I'm going to explain what she's doing from the recipe, and she's going to start making it. This is Susie, the cook here in the soy program, which a lot of you people have met, some maybe know. Okay.
Hola, Susie.
Hola,
Hola,
Susie.
Susie.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. The first thing that she's going to do is mix all of the vegetables. So first she puts in the chopped garlic. Then she's adding the chopped onion. Then the chopped green pepper. The grated carrot. The chopped tomato. The chopped cilantro. Now, in terms of cilantro, I know, Joe, that's not your favorite. You can use whatever spice you want. You can use parsley, basil, whatever you want. Cilantro is very popular here. Then the grated cheese. Also, that's to your preference, whichever kind of cheese you'd like to use. And then she's putting in the soybean curd. Okay. And then a half a cup of flour.
Anna, I don't know if you're able to tilt the screen down just a little bit. We don't see Susie's hands like working. There we go. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Now she's going to lightly beat the egg before adding it to the vegetable and flour mixture. This is a very small, this makes 6 or 8 little patties depending on the size. When we go to the communities, depending on the amount of people, we make 75 or 100. Okay, and then salt and pepper to your preference. And a lot of people can use other, I sometimes use Mrs. Dash, I use cumin, whatever your preference is. And then of course, salt, that can never be left out. Okay, and then she mixes.
Así.
Is that okay? Can you see there?
Yes, we can see it, Anna. Bye.
This is better than the British cooking program.
And then you form your patty depending on the size that you want to make it. And then what we did is, put it in a Teflon pan with a little bit of spray and for flavoring, a little bit of olive oil to fry them. And then bingo. These are how the tortillas come.
Well, we're all on our way to the airport so we can be there for lunch.
No van a visitar para almuerzo. Están en un vuelo. Yeah, and then the other thing you can do is this, depending on what you're serving this with, of course, is make a little sauce or something to put over it. But they're pretty tasty alone too, especially when they're hot and they come right out of the frying pan. But like I say, it's a great way to get, especially with kids, to get vegetables into kids and something that they'll eat because they're so used to eating pupusas. So something like that's fried like this, it has a little bit more vegetables, of course. But that's our first recipe that we always teach.
Thank you, Anna and Susie. That was great.
Yes, thank you. Gracias.
And by the way, Anna, how many times a month do the people from the program usually get this specific food, this specific recipe?
Well, you know what we do for these is we taught them so that they can use this. Some people sell them. So, they use it. It's another thing that's kind of different. So I have a couple beneficiaries that come here, and because anyone can have soybean curd whenever they want, of course, because we have tons of it. So they come here and get the soybean curd and make these patties. So we keep our meal plan, which is always the same, is baked goods on Monday, which a lot of times we incorporate soy. Soup, red or white bean on Tuesdays. We have pasta with different sauces on Wednesday. We have mana on Thursday with different pastas. And Fridays varies from refried beans to soy pancakes, et cetera, et cetera. We kind of vary Friday depending on our time. So yeah, and the other thing is, because think about it, when you make something like this and you need to give at least, you're talking about, you're going to have to make 200 or 250 of these. So it's a tremendous labor effort. she makes pancakes about once a month, and she makes close to 300.
Wow.
You know, and it's hours of work on the plancha. So
Mhm,
we watch that just for time purposes.
mhm. Okay, thank you, Anna.
Anna, that's what I was kind of struck with in your photo of Susie with the humongous pot. I couldn't help but think how much love was in that pot to be shared with others. It just really is a beautiful thing.
Well, you know, that's something that is enviable. I don't have this, but since I've watched her, you know, cook for years, is that she counts, imagine this, she counts the number of vegetables of each different vegetable, and she gives each beneficiary family the same amount. Now, if I'm serving it, you know, I kind of look at it, take a thing, and, you know, there's a lot of different colors of pow, you know, I serve the dish. But she has this incredible patience to make sure that everyone gets the same thing. It's really remarkable. Neither Carmen and I can do it, so we always leave that kind of thing to her.
Anna, do you have a mentoring program, say that the people who are working with you on the cooking, that they teach others to do the same thing so that they then can teach others and, you know, have a kind of a multiplying effect?
That's what we're going to, I mean, I think some could, but I think they lack confidence and practice in it. And so one of the things that we decided that we would do next year with the workshops is that, since I'm going to have to be teaching some very basic starting soy recipes, is providing the COVID situation is okay, is invite other people in the program and say, if you would like to learn to cook these and like to learn to teach, because since I'm going to have to do different ones, what I'm going to do is, you know, it's one thing for me to do it, and then the next time what I do is I have the senoras do it. So I'm gonna, that's part of the focus in transition next year.
Well, I think we're all very excited, Anna, for your plans of retirement, but you might want to consider extending that timeline a little.
Well, I'm sure Joe can relate to this. I'm going to have cataract surgery on the 10th and the 17th of December. So that kind of closes this year. But the other thing is that I would like to, it's not that I don't want to continue working in any capacity with soy, and but I'd like to do it on my own timeline. And I'd like to, there's some family health things in the States, and I can't get away. So I wanted to make myself a little bit more available to family too.
I think we can all relate to all those, well, those of us over 50 on the call can all relate to the cataract piece, and everyone else can probably relate to the challenges of family and being at distance that we've all experienced, particularly in our own ways during this pandemic. Mm-hmm. How about other questions? Anyone have a question for Susie, or any comments? It'd be a miracle if we actually ended one of these on time or early, but
well, Anna's
Anna.
pocas palabras. Never have to worry about me going over the time.
Right. I'm just looking online, looking who else is participating. Let me just check the.
You know, Anna, Carol was remembering and sharing with us before we formally started about her travel to El Salvador. I don't think you shared that with Anna, but what an impact you made with her with the Reiki.
Well,
No
Salvador,
one
I don't think
remembers that.
Yeah,
Did you,
yeah.
did you practice
Uh-huh.
that a lot?
It was on my knee and I could hardly walk and couldn't get off the bus, and you just came and your beautiful hands, the warmth of that healed the knee. I have problems with both knees, but I could not have gotten home, I don't think, without you. So thank you. I remember you often.
Well, you know what? This is interesting. This morning is the first time I haven't practiced Reiki's in years. Just got sidetracked in a lot of different things. But I thought this morning to myself, I said, you know what? I'm going to use Reiki after the cataract surgery. I thought, gosh, I haven't done that in years. Used it as a healing. And that's the first time I thought about it. I thought, wow, I haven't used it. And they recommend that you, as a practicing Reiki, that you do it on yourself. It's extremely relaxing, and I don't have any trouble sleeping whatsoever. So yeah, that's interesting. No, I do remember that. Mhm.
Well, I think we need a virtual session with you on that.
Maybe yeah, we should just pivot into a Reiki session. I know my eyes can use that.
Yeah. Well, I could sure use it right now, and best of luck with your cataract, because I may just start doing healing. Who knows? But that, I hate to say, that was one of the highlights of my trip to El Salvador.
Well, I'm happy I was here when it happened.
Me too.
And Joe, tomorrow or Sunday, I know you can relate to this. It's still a little bit of a challenge for me, but I've been training for 6 weeks. I'm participating in a aguas abiertas, open swim in the lake, and it's a swimming instructor and lifeguard that passed from COVID, so we're doing it in his honor. Gosh, there's about 30 of us, and there's 20 lifeguards. Quite a big group because he was with Red Cross also.
Huh.
It's 3.5 kilometers.
Whoa.
So so I've gone 2 Sundays in a row to practice to get myself in a little bit better shape, even though you know, it doesn't. Swimming, what I learned, which you know, is that swimming in the pool and swimming in the lake are 2 different things.
Yeah.
And my God, fighting the current. When we go halfway, we stop, they take pictures, you drink water, and then we return. And coming back, I remember one of the people swimming next to me said, I'm tired. He said, just slow your pace down. Oh, okay. But wow, it's I thought of you. I thought, wow, you swim in a lake. That is invigorating.
It is. And of course, this time of the year, it's very invigorating. There's a whole group that goes in the really cold water now, Anna, that you couldn't handle. But Kemi even goes in with a camera, and it's a group of women. And there's 4 or 5 pretty clear health benefits of going into ice cold water. And they're related to movement of joints, strengthening your heart, building your immune system. There's one related to libido, apparently, which I haven't experienced. And there's one other one that I'm unsure what it's called, but there's a group of women that have a kind of interesting acronym, so I won't repeat it. But the acronym, I won't tell you what the acronym's for, but it's CTWH. I'll tell you where it's just you and me and it's not for posterity. But they go in, it started on New Year's Day, and they go in now every weekend. They do a dip through the entire winter. So they're in, you know, literally all year swimming in the ice cold water.
How long do they stay in that cold water?
When it's really bad, I think the max is about 15, 20 minutes.
Woo-hoo.
You're moving the whole time, but I mean, you're in there a while.
And regular swimsuits or wetsuits?
Well, that's kind of what the acronym's about, which again, I'll tell you, but there's, you know, the thing that I learned, which I didn't know, is that if you cover your, they say your head. I don't ever wear a cap, which is kind of funny, but they say if you
Huh.
cover your head, your hands, and your feet, even if you only have on, trunks or, a one-piece woman's suit, you're all right. It's those three parts of your body that really need to be kept warm. But many of them go in with head-to-toe wetsuits. And
Okay.
our daughter has a head-to-toe wetsuit and a little head camera, like a headlight, and she'll go in and turn the camera on and swim around underwater, and you can't see anything, but she thinks it's so cool, so I mean, if we were in your part of the world, you could see a lot, but in the lakes of Maine, you don't see much once you get down, a foot or two from the surface. You can barely see yourself. But they're going in, many of the women are going in the ocean because the ocean doesn't freeze over unless it's a really bad winter, rather than going into the ponds. So, and there's waves. I mean, it's a woman thing. I mean, the January 1st thing was everybody, but this is morphed into a thing that they do every week. So the guys sort of go in on January 1st, and then the women go the rest of the year.
Every weekend for the year they do this?
Every weekend, this one woman, she's the she's the high school assistant swim coach, and she swam across the English Channel, and she's also the last 2 summers she's tried to circumnavigate the whole island, which is about 43 miles in the open ocean. And she made it about a third of the way the first year, a little more than half this past year. And of course, now because the ocean is warming, we're getting sharks up here. So it's a little bit more dangerous to swim in the open water with a wetsuit, at the surface anyways. And she leads the group. So some days you'll see a post of just her, and other days you'll see a post of 20 women. And it's been again, I'm not part of it. A lot of my friends are, but it's been really important. Some of the women have gone, had health diagnosis, and then they all swim, they get a bigger group to swim together if they're concerned about something for one of the women in the group, or it's somebody's birthday, or a different thing in their job. So it's actually Hannah, who you met, the young woman from the church here, who's a high school teacher, who came to El Salvador. She's part of the group. She's on the young end. Most of them are, my age or your, they're older, but Hannah's part of it. Let me try to turn that off. So that was a huge, what do they call that? A aside, but that's wonderful that you're doing that. And what lake are you swimming in, or what pond?
Lago Ilapango.
Oh my God, that water is beautiful.
And it's warm, Joe. Warm.
Yeah, no, I know. I think we took when we had the emergent experience, I think we all went swimming there.
It's 8 kilometers in width and 12 kilometers long. So
well, that'll be fun. Yeah, be careful and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, they bring a Red Cross lancha, and and there's 40 lifeguards going. He was real big in Red Cross, so all of his buddies are coming. There's actually 7 that are swimmers that are coming that are participating in the 2023 games down here. We're sponsoring the Central America Games in 23.
Right. Oh, great.
It's really going to be something.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'll tell you that nobody told me when I was starting to have this, what was supposed to be, we thought fairly routine procedure, is that you can't swim for about a month after each eye. So
he told me, I asked him, how long am I out of the pool? And he said 4 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I would have done it probably in February if I'd known that, because I lost the last, September and October in the open water here, which has kind of been was kind of a bummer.
Yeah, that's why I planned it now, because it's so freaking cold, and plus pools are closed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I hope I get all these benefits from the cold water, because I freeze every day. I'm in hypothermia constantly.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell Vicky to send you the link.
Okay.
Or Hannah later, but it's a pretty funny group. Well, go ahead.
Joe, I'm sure if knowing Anna's love for water, if she was in Maine, she'd take that polar plunge. Maybe
Yeah, you
Vicky will
can.
do it in her honor.
Yeah. I don't think Vicky's going. Vicky's been bundled
no.
up since she got here.
I
Sorry.
don't think she's interested.
No.
You got her on a plane and got her there,
It
but
was
to go into
worth
the
a
lake.
try.
Yeah, yeah.
She can wear Kimmy's wetsuit.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
probably would fit in Kimmy's wetsuit too.
No, it's better if we don't give them ideas, Carol.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. I didn't tell you, Vicky, that that was part of our tradition. Each weekend, our family jumps in the ocean.
Oh my God, no.
That's like
Right
a-
after the service, they jump
That's right.
in.
Right after, yeah, Sunday. That's our Sunday ritual. Well, it's been great. It's been great catching up with you, Anna, personally, and I'm sure everybody enjoyed the presentation. Did anyone have a question for Susie, or are we, or I don't even know if Carmen is there. Any other questions, comments? I
What a
found.
great get together. Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
actually-
Nice to see everyone.
Yeah, I found a really wonderful little, it's actually on the bulletin board. This church still has bulletin boards outside my office. I put it up a number of years ago. So I'm going to read this reflection from Ida Ford, but I think it would be best to end with that. So Ilse, why don't you update us on what our plans are for the next couple of weeks as we head into the holiday season?
Okay, well, I can say that we're finalizing our schedule for next week's program based on some speaker scheduling. So we'll keep you all posted with next week's program, but on the 17th of December, which will be our final forum for the year, will be a special forum of our IPM Family Expressions of Gratitude, where we'll have various partners, board members, staff, just sharing a few of their own personal words of gratitude for being part of the IPM family. We will be scheduling that forum at a different time than our usual 11 a.m. and we'll share this information in writing with you so you don't have to jot this down now, but it will be more in the early evening because we are combining it with an in-person gathering that we'll be hosting here in the Cleveland area with some of our friends and supporters. So we'll be doing both an in-person and virtual gathering and sharing, again, as I said, these expressions of gratitude for all the love and the support and the impact that each of you and so many others have allowed IPM to do throughout our history, and particularly during this most continued challenging times. So look for that update in the coming days. And thank you for joining us again today. Joe, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ilse. So I'm going to read this. I'll try not to look down the whole time. It's one of the things I don't like about Zoom. Every time I try to read something, you see the top of my head. But this is from Ida Ford, and Ida was a Maryknoll missioner, as I think all of you know, one of the 4 women, again, who were murdered on December 2nd, 1980, along with Jean Donovan, Dorothy Kazel, and her Maryknoll colleague, Maura Clark. And she wrote this note to her niece, I believe, who was celebrating a birthday. They were corresponding during her time in El Salvador about the situation there and her commitment to stay amongst the Salvadoran people and to continue her ministry, particularly in Chalatenango. Those of you who've traveled to El Salvador with us know that Dorothy and Jean were more involved in and around Zaragoza and La Libertad, where IPM has a long-standing, strong presence, a number of partners, Acumahersa, Patronato Lidio Cochola, et cetera. We're actually expanding creating a new partnership now through our work over the years with Julieta Bora and the Sister Parish program in Cholate, and maybe Adela or Anita or Vicky can share more about that at an upcoming forum. But Ida was working there amongst those people and returning to El Salvador from Nicaragua from a Maryknoll conference at the time of her murder, again, 41 years ago this week. And this is how she ended the letter to her niece, and would be a good way to end our forum together today. So I would invite you to just center yourself, quiet yourself. I know many of us have already had busy mornings or full days in Nepal and India, and just hear Ida's words as we end our time together. I hope you come to find that which gives life a deep meaning for you, something worth living for, maybe even worth dying for, something that energizes you, enthuses you, enables you to keep moving ahead. I can't tell you what it might be. That's for you to find, to choose, and to love. I can just encourage you to start looking and support you in the search. And I know, Anna, that for all of us on this call and so many members of the IPM family, we see in you the kind of person who is chosen to dedicate their life to love and to that which energizes and enthuses you and has made such a difference for the Salvadoran people, the community of Mejicanos in particular, and the entire IPM family. So thank you for being who you are and all you do, and Godspeed in your remaining years prior to your much deserved retirement. And we'll look forward to being together in person again soon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And thank you for the support and friendship I've had with all the wonderful people in IPM. And I miss the constant visiting, but understand exactly. But thank you. It's great to touch base with you all.
Yeah, thank you, Anna.
Thank you, Anna.
Be well.
We'll see you soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Take care.
You
Bye,
too.
everyone.
Feliz Navidad.
Bye.